This presentation is going to help you recognize patterns of organization that authors use when putting together paragraphs. Authors use transitions to help make their ideas clear. Transitions are those signal words or phrases that carry the reader from one sentence to the next so that they're not isolated sentences, but that they connect to make a coherent paragraph. The two major types of transitions that writers use is the transition of addition and the transition of time. Okay, so let's start with addition. Addition words signal that the writer is presenting one or more ideas continuing along the same line of thought. So transitions of addition, you would see words like for one thing, in addition, also, finally, one more thing, secondly, words like that. So some examples would be hippos give birth underwater. They also nurse their young there. That shows you that they are adding one more example to the same sentence. It connects it with that transition word of also. Another example, one reason people have dogs is for companionship. Another reason is for protection. So we use that transition of another to add two thoughts together. Okay. We also use the transitions of time. Time words transitions tell us when something happened in relation to when something else happened. So typical transition words are things like first, next, then, after, last, any of those that relate to time. So some examples would be, after our kids take their morning showers, there's usually no hot water left. After tells you when it happened. It's a transition word of time. Okay. It used to take me 35 minutes to get to school. Now, because of road construction, that time has nearly tripled. So the transition word tells us when did it happen. It happened now. Okay. Now, patterns of organization show the relationship between supporting ideas in paragraphs, essays, and chapters. When you're able to recognize the patterns in which authors arrange information, you're then better able to understand and remember what you read. So two of the most common patterns that they use are list of items and time order. There are several more, but we will add on to those in a different lecture. Today we're going to focus on the two, the list of items and the time order. Okay, so the first pattern, the list of items, is exactly what it says. A series of reasons, examples, or other points that support an idea. They are often used to tell us that another supporting point is being added on to a point that the writer already talked about. So when you see words like one, first, for one thing, to begin with, next, finally, any of those number words tell us that they're going to give us a list. Not a list written straight down like a grocery list, but that the author is writing one more example or one more reason, one more point. Okay, so here's a paragraph that uses the signal word, the addition words, and it is set up in this list of items. A number of different theories attempt to explain crime. One theory says that crime is caused by biology. This explanation says that people inherit the tendency to commit crime, much as they inherit eye color. Another theory suggests that crime is caused by psychological factors. According to this view, anger caused in childhood by such painful events as abuse and neglect drives people to commit crimes. A third, more recent view is that crime is caused by social forces. According to this theory, economic, social, and political inequalities create an environment in which crime is likely to happen. So you can see that the addition words that signal that one more idea, one more example is coming. It connects sentence to sentence so that the sentences are not in isolation, but connects one thought to the other. One more thing, another theory, a third theory. Then there's the pattern of organization, time order. Again, this is just what it signifies. Writers usually present events in the order in which they happen. A reporter is not going to recount an incident and mix up the order in which it occurred. Time order is also used in a paragraph that gives instructions, like a recipe or how to assemble something. Even if it weren't written in a list, but it's written in paragraph form, if you mix up those instructions and you put them out of the time order, that's not going to work. So some time words that you'll see is before, previously, anything that signals order, first, second, third, next, last, then, in the order, chronological order that something is to occur. So here's an example. Again, the time order words have been highlighted. Very young children in a hospital often go through 3 stages of separation anxiety. In the first stage, protest. These children try actively to get the parent, especially the mother, back. For instance, they may shake their cribs and hurl themselves about. In the second stage, despair. The babies and children become inactive and withdrawn. They may cry, but generally they are so quiet that they are mistakenly assumed to have accepted the hospital. In the final stage, detachment, they respond to hospital workers. They eat, play with toys, and are friendly, but they fail to respond to a visiting parent. 2 final points about these first 2 patterns of organization is while many paragraphs have just one pattern of organization, often the patterns are mixed, and you'll find a longer paragraph may use both of these, or one that we learned today and one that we'll catch on next week. And not all relationships between ideas are signaled by transition words. Sometimes it's just implied, and you'll just see how one leads to another without having the signal words. Also, as a final disclaimer, as I was going through this presentation with you, I noticed quite a few typos. So bear with me. I'm glad I was there to dictate it for you and catch those. And I apologize. Let that be an excellent example to you to always proofread your work before you turn something in. So apologies.